Let's play a game, all right? On the count of 3, name your favorite dinosaur. Don't even think about it. Just name it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Velociraptor.
What? Did we just become best friends?
Yup.
You want to go do karate in the garage?
Yup.
This is the Karate in the Garage podcast with Mason Merrill and Weston Toth. Welcome back to another edition of the Karate in the Garage podcast. I am your host, Mason Merrill, and with me again today is my co-host, Weston Toth. How are you, sir?
We back. We doing it.
We're back. Yeah, I feel like I should just like post something at the beginning that's just like, we're back.
I know, God.
Maybe just that sound bite.
We're back, baby. It's been a long time coming, but we are back.
A lot has changed. I have a new baby, so that's the reason why we went away. And all that, he's doing really good. He's really healthy and growing. He's a month in now, so
you made a thing. You did it.
Yeah, dude, I did it. It's like crazy.
well, she did most of it, but you still did it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's great. So everything's going good with that. Healthy, strong.
Yep. He's good. He's growing like crazy, and we have his 1 month official checkup tomorrow. So,
hey, if there's going to be a reason that we're not going to get together and talk about some sweet games, then that's going to be it right there. That's okay.
Yep, that's right. I forgive you for sure. Yeah, you got to procreate so they can take this over in the future, right?
I mean, realistically, if no one had kids, the existence of mankind would be doomed. So yes, you're correct.
Yeah, we would only have retro video games to play and love or hate because there'd be no video games being made by people.
That's very, very true. Yeah.
Unless the robots come in and make some games, because that's the way it's going eventually. Anyway.
I mean, that's what Elon Musk says, and I think that guy's pretty intelligent. He's saying that have you ever heard that idea of basically they think that even in the next like 10 years, the amount of jobs that are going to get replaced with robots is pretty astounding.
Yeah, it's insane when you think about that kind of stuff and like how like different robots and things, this is going down rabbit holes, but like have developed their own type of languages and things like that where they speak to each other versus speaking to humans.
Weird.
Like that kind of stuff is real.
Spooky for sure. But hey man, we ain't about that. We're here to play some video games.
Yeah, definitely. So anyway, how have you been? You took like a pretty sweet trip around your anniversary.
Oh yeah. So I've been absolutely fantastic. We went to the same time that basically you had your baby. We went to the Grand Cayman Islands, and man, dude, had just an incredible time. If anyone ever is thinking about going there, please do it. Just beautiful weather, diving, good shopping. We went on an awesome yacht sailboat. We did a helicopter tour around the island. Just
dude,
had the time.
I bet that was awesome. Yeah, the helicopter tour. I saw pictures on social media that it just looked awesome. Like.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet.
Yeah, cool, man. Well, good. I'm glad you had fun. I know we left off our podcast with, we're going to be back next week, even though Weston's going to be gone. And then, like, just everything just unraveled with having the baby and all that. So we tried to get together last week, and it just didn't happen. My air conditioner went out, so we had to get that replaced. And just the podcast fell through the cracks. Anyway.
It's all good.
Yeah.
We're back.
So we are not talking about a retro video game today. We have been teasing this for like since we started this podcast. We have played and beat Kingdom Hearts 3. 13 years coming.
Yeah.
and we are here to talk about how we feel about the game now.
Yes. So we both beat it. How long did it take you? How many hours do you think you had on it? Like, that's the first things first is how much can someone because I don't know how much side stuff you did. I don't know how much side stuff there was, but I pretty much just like played the main story. I wasn't necessarily just exploring all that much.
Yeah, at the beginning I was really kind of doing a lot of like the side stuff and things like that, but as time ticked on and I was like, we're going to have a baby in a couple weeks and I need to get this thing done, I just kind of just finished it up. I think my hour count was like 39 or 40.
Yeah, so I think I was literally right there with you.
Yeah, and it's cool with PlayStation now. Like we used to just leave the game on and it just would count hours and hours. With PlayStation, just putting it in rest mode, you can basically just turn it off and start it right back up from where you were, and it doesn't count the hours or anything. So you could kind of get a really good focus on how many hours you spent playing the game.
Yeah, I need to look back perfectly, but I noticed that too because I would just pause it and then just turn my TV off, and it knew when the TV like turned off. And it would immediately just go into rest mode. I didn't even put it in rest mode. It just knew. And then when I would press the button again, it would just start right back up. So it's it's pretty sweet. But I had about 40 hours as well, maybe even a little bit more, like 44. Anywhere from 38 to probably 45 hours total.
Yeah. So where do you want to begin with this? How do you want to break this down? As far as like jumping into the game,
man. So I think the first things first is we should just start from the beginning. We're not. There's gonna be no spoil. Do you want to do spoilers or no spoilers? That's a good question.
Yeah, dude. Let's do spoilers. It's been a few months. Like if you right now from this point forward, if you're listening to this podcast and you haven't beat the game and you do not want to hear spoilers, I don't think we can review the game without spoiling some of it,
I agree. Okay, so let's just go full spoilers. If you don't want to hear this, please turn this off, and I don't want to hurt anybody's experience. So, but this is definitely...
But come back next week.
Yeah, just... Exactly.
Or you could just fast forward through the whole thing and then listen to our end conversation, because we're going to talk about other stuff too.
Yeah, for sure.
We are going for it right now. So,
okay, so let's think about this. Basically, the world overview. How did you feel about the opening of the game? And then just maybe let's just do the first section of worlds, which is Olympus, Twilight Town, Toy Box, and Kingdom of Corona. Yeah.
Yeah. So the game totally took a 180 from how I thought it was going to start, which was pretty cool with basically the whole beginning sequence was the Hercules world.
Right.
Is that correct? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Am I forgetting anything? Yeah, so you kind of just they teach you how to play the game again through the Hercules world, and you go through that whole thing, which I thought it was cool. I mean, I was pretty bummed when I heard they were going to have an old world in the game, and especially since it was Hercules, because that just never been one of my favorites. But it was cool. I mean, it was really great the way it was done, and the intensity of what was going on in the world was fun. The story part of it, it was cool. Hercules was actually on your team, through some of it.
Yeah, no, so I felt the exact same way about it. So you basically remember you had the opening. I'm sorry, just to retract a little bit. The opening of it was, remember, you got to choose which characters you want to do strength or magic. So you still have that option. Stuff. Is you do that first and then you go to Olympus. And it basically, I didn't think it was going to jump literally from the end of Dream Drop Distance to the start of Kingdom Hearts 3. It even said Kingdom Hearts 2 point Earth
2.9 or something
2.9 because there was 2.8, which was Aqua's thing, and then 2.9 was this. It literally said 2.9, so it just ran into it. It didn't change. There was no backstory or from a different part. It just went straight into it, which I thought was fine.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah, they didn't have to really cover the whole story from square one to square two. They were just you've played these games, let's get into it.
Yeah, because remember it did flash back a little bit, when you're when in the opening sequences when you're choosing, it has all those panels that go by and at different points of kind of what happened a little bit, but there were glimpses of it. So if you've played the games, you're oh yeah, I remember that. But if you're new to this game, you won't understand what's going on at all.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Olympus, I also it makes no sense to me why they brought this land back overall out of all of them, because again it wasn't
they just must have really liked it or something. I don't know.
I mean, so Olympus, if this was Olympus number 1 or number 2, I think that'd have been cool. I think this is what they originally wanted Olympus to be, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's kind of true. They never really had a world of Olympus. It was just
Coliseum.
like the enter to the Coliseum. You go and you fight in the tournaments and things like that, and that's about it. The last year there was the Underworld, which was kind of a world, or Kingdom Hearts 2, the Underworld, which was kind of a world, but it wasn't really like building out Olympus and what the countryside is like, and the mountains and the bosses and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I think this is, in a way, I liked it because it gave me the feel of watching the movie, and it built out the world properly. And you obviously went from going from Earth to the gods, and then you fight like the Titan battles were, I think, really good. Like that was. I'm all good with it. Like I think the world itself was designed nicely, but I didn't want to go back there. Especially because all the other worlds in comparison were not like, they were so much better.
Yeah, I totally agreed, and I am glad that this one was out of the way and you never had to go back there. If they were gonna do it like this, that's just okay, let's get through it, kind of thing. So let's just initialize the game on this kind of thing. So that I thought that was good. As far as the story of the world, you're just building basically up to where, like you said, fight the Titans, and Hades is all pissed off again. The whole thing that you're there,
exactly.
Like all that. It's just same tale, different day. So
yeah, I was fine with all that. It was I think that it looked really nice. It played well. I just was kind of the same thing. So
yeah,
that's Olympus, and then the next one was Twilight Town. What did you think about that?
Twilight Town. Yeah, I mean, you just basically it was good. I mean, Twilight Town's really built out in this game, and really, because I had recently played the other Kingdom Hearts 2 before this, so like you could really tell a difference on how they built it out and put just a ton more detail into it, which was cool.
Yeah, I mean, they added it in because it was a major part of the plot line, right?
Yeah,
you going back to the mansion and like the research they were doing there and trying to get like parts of people's memory back, and like it was part of the story. So I'm glad they did it, and then it brought back all of Roxas's buds and everything like that. So
yeah, and kind of incorporated that. There's a new like kind of or kind of like a profession almost, is like with the cooking, the whole ratatouille cooking thing.
That was cool.
Which kind of overshadowed the entire game. That's something I need to go back and do, because I didn't even get the Keyblade from that.
I didn't either.
That you get, yeah. But that was neat. I mean, whatever, kind of thing. And but as far as the story in it, like you said, it kind of just like went from Olympus, and then it's like, okay, let's cut our teeth into what we're gonna be going through in this game.
Right, and that's like I think the fight with the Heartless Wave, that was pretty sweet. I definitely enjoyed that fight, and like I said, it set up the story, but it wasn't anything to like, it was integral. And the little chef, and which is Ratatouille being able to kind of cook that was fun. And
and kind of added
McDuck as the owner.
yeah, it was funny. Yeah, it added kind of another like aspect to that, or another character to the game, another Disney kind of character that you wouldn't really think of too, that would be in it, that apparently Disney really loves. So I wasn't really high on the movie itself, but
Ratatouille,
whatever, it's cool. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I love that movie.
Yeah, my son loves that movie too, and I'm just like, every time they turn it on, I'm like, yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I got in I had it on my computer when like people downloaded movies onto the computer, so that was like one of 10 or 20 movies I had that like whenever I was, I don't know, in another country or just like in an airport, I just had it on. It was one of those you could just throw on and feel good about it and just watch it like multiple times, and it was good. But anyway,
that's cool.
And then from there, did you go to Kingdom of Corona or Toy Box?
Let's see. I went to Corona.
Okay, yeah, I did the same thing. So I wanted to save Toy
Yeah,
Story.
that's right. Yeah, exactly. I was going to go to Toy Story just because of the level, and I took a wrong turn just trying to figure out the whole gummy ship world thing, So
yes,
I ended up there, and I was like, whatever, I'll do this.
I literally did the exact same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so funny you did that. So, which means that if we're both doing
a lot of people probably did.
like the gummy ship was fine. It was way better than it used to be, but it's still like it's confusing.
I liked the open worldness of it, which was cool. It wasn't just like a path, you could fly basically around anywhere in like a gummy ship universe, which is neat. I didn't build out the gummy ship too much. I just kind of got to my worlds, beat the bosses beforehand, did the basic stuff.
Yeah. So Kingdom of Corona, what did you like? How did you feel about this world? So I think like maybe one thing we could do too is just rate the worlds on,
Okay.
so for me, Olympus was like a solid, like it was like a 5. It was decent. Like I didn't hate the world at all, but it didn't give me anything like the feels of.
I wasn't. I was after I was done. I was like, I'm glad to be done with that.
Yeah, it was like I know it was needed, but you don't feel necessarily like pumped.
Yeah, for sure. So Kingdom of Corona, I liked the world. I thought it was cool. I thought it was unique to Kingdom Hearts. I really honestly, I love that movie, Tangled. I love that. I think it's just a great. I think it's just a good movie and great voice actors and things like that. It's cool they brought all the original voice actors back, and it just really felt like a Disney movie.
Yeah.
Felt like you were Sora inside of the Disney movie, which a lot of the story was the same, but they what was cool in Kingdom Hearts 3, whereas they hadn't really done before in like the past 2 games, where you would basically just play the whole story, of what that movie was, and then you would come back later and there'd be a little more story to it. But this kind of just interwebbed the entire plot of what this game, what was going on here, and with Marluxia showing up and just causing a lot of problems and trying to basically steal Rapunzel's soul.
Basically.
Yeah. We need her. She is our insurance policy or whatever he said.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought it was good. I thought it was cool. Like I said, the world was beautiful. It was cool to fight alongside Rapunzel and what was his name?
Flynn.
Flynn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the movie, but I can't remember their names.
Yeah. I think this was one of the most like nicely designed and graphically pleasing levels of the entire game. Yeah. Like it's a gorgeous level.
Yeah. Visually beautiful level. Especially when they got to the part where you're in the town and dancing. It was kind of cool. Yeah, there's that was like a totally different thing. Yeah, I'd never seen in the games before. Like, oh, you got to dance with everybody, thing. And I thought I really liked. This is where like the story kind of revved up, kind of getting going, and there was like the intense moments felt intense. Felt like a Disney movie.
Oh yeah, like this gave me all sorts of the good feels. Like I said, the level, like the level itself was beautiful. I just had there was no part of it that I was like, oh, they're just putting this in here to be monotonous and waste time. It was all, even though Kingdom Hearts at its core is literally just like a wave clearing, like story driven game. But I liked all these elements that they had in this one. I was on board for this level for sure.
Yeah, it kind of wove in and wove out of the game. Kind of just the story like played so well along with all the worlds and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, Kingdom of Corona. Let's give it a rating.
Yeah, I give it like an 8. I thought it was good. It didn't drag on for me. It there wasn't really anything bad to say about it other than, I think it could have been a little bigger,
maybe
kind of thing,
yeah.
Or just like a little more, like even a little more story to it, even though they kind of covered all the bases. I don't know what that would look like, but just felt like I was done with it pretty quick.
Yeah. So a counter argument to that is you definitely could be correct, or you felt like you were done with it quick because it was like time's flying when you're having fun.
True that. Yeah, 100. Yeah, definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I'm like an 8 or even like a 9. I think it was pretty much the package for me. But one thing that I've noticed about, like, I don't know if you've but this level to me was designed well because I kind of knew exactly where to go or where the story was leading me. Whereas there was a couple of levels that in this game where it was confusing. Like it wasn't apparent what exactly like where you were going, and I don't want necessarily people just to lead me like a horse to a trough or whatever. But at the same time, it like there was a couple of them, and I think we'll get to it. I think you'll probably have the same thing as me, but it's just this one was like, oh, I know exactly where we need to go to and how to get there, and it was it probably could have been a little bit bigger as well, but I don't know. I think it was an 8 or 9 for me.
Yeah, no, there's really not a whole lot of open worldness to it. It was just kind of like this is the path you go down.
It was more Kingdom Hearts world than an open world for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so you finished that level. If you've played the game, you know the story. We're kind of just giving a brief overview, and then I think we can talk about the story and how the overarching felt to all of it,
Right, exactly. Basically, just kind of go through the levels.
Yeah.
So Toy Box again. So that's where you went next, or that's what I went next, and it was.
Yeah, I was like, why is it so early in the game?
I know.
This is how I felt. I was like, it's over now, like.
Oh God.
And it was good. I liked it. I liked all aspects. You start off in Andy's room. The plot thickens when you have to go to the toy store and figure out what's going on. Because Sora's looking for his friends, and they're all about friendship.
Yeah, it was. I thought so same thing as like the last what I said about everything about Kingdom of Corona, like the Tangled, is it was absolutely gorgeous. All the character acting and was awesome. Cutscenes are good. And then, for this one, you start at Andy's room, you go down the street, and then you go to the toy store. So there was a lot of diversity, I thought. And this one felt very more open world because as a toy in the toy shop or Andy's room, they were so you felt small and the world be really big. Even though it necessarily wasn't maybe bigger than Tangled, it just felt bigger.
Yeah, there's a lot more diversity, and like we said in Tangled, we always knew kind of where we were going. I didn't always know where I was going in this world, there's a lot of figuring out I kind of had to do in certain parts of the story. But I thought it was cool, like going back to Andy's room, just the detail and everything about it. They didn't leave anything out. I felt like I was in the movie, like walking around Andy's room, and that was just cool. You look out the window, you see the front yard, all that.
It was incredible.
It felt like the beginning of the first Toy Story when they're looking out the window and the guests are arriving and all that. You just feel like you're in that world, and that's what they obviously were doing with the And then you have the battle in the front yard with the Heartless and all that. As far as like the gameplay, you've already had a couple Keyblades from here, so you get like the special attacks that instead of forms in this game, they had like the attacks that were like the forms,
Yeah, so
that you charge the Keyblade and all that.
People know.
Yeah, so in Kingdom Hearts 2, you had like the Valor form and the Magic form, and that you would turn into different things. And so each Keyblade you basically get a form, which has like you charge it by attacking, and then you use it, and it turns like your Keyblade into something else. Like either like some guns or like a tower or like a Tangled tower or whatever, and then like there's a next level to it. So if you attack enough with that, it turns into something else, and then there's an ending attack that you can do that just levels the playing field.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So it just like you said, you attack with that, and it charges it up, and then it'll change forms to something more powerful. But it kind of depends on your playstyle too, because some, if you really like to attack from a long range or even fights, like I actually started switching them out for different boss fights if I didn't win, and then the third, or like you might form change again, and then the third time it did it, it would be like your final attack, and it would do like a bunch of damage. But like by this time you already had a couple Keyblades, which was awesome because you could kind of do your play style a certain way. But I kind of did like my main one just where it was the good strength, for clearing waves. But then I found out like a lot of boss fights, I used the one from Tangled because it had the long range like laser and like magic attacks as its basic attack.
Yeah.
So it worked out really. I like that part about it. So you kind of can just play your own game, because even if you liked one Keyblade a lot, you could, and it was lower, like let's say it needed more strength, you could upgrade it to the point where you could still use it as your main Keyblade.
Oh yeah, you could use any of the Keyblades throughout the entire game and get through it, and feel up to date. You didn't feel left behind if you really liked the Toy Box Keyblade, which is one I used a lot actually.
Yeah, I did too.
So, but as far as getting over to the store, you get there, and that's cool because you saw a little bit of that in. It was kind of a new world, but you just you knew the toy store was like an overarching thing of the series, itself.
But Toy Story 2? Toy Story 2.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it wasn't the exact same kind of place it felt like, but
no.
but it was definitely really cool. It had 4 levels to it. Was it 4 different elevator levels?
Yeah, because it had 4 levels, and then there was different parts of the store that, like, this one had the the dolls in it, and this one had this toys. So it was definitely changed the theme of it.
Yeah, and then another cool aspect, which they've never done in anything, was the robot battles. You jump in the toy robots, and you got like this awesome tanker you're doing work with. Yeah, that was so cool. That was fun. Yeah, driving that thing around was cool. It's like all first-person shooter-ish type stuff, and so you're making your way through the toy box. Eventually, it ends up in you meet, who was the organization member you meet at the end?
Hold up. I'm right here.
Was it Riku?
No. Hello, climb up. I actually don't know.
Yeah, anyway, yeah, we'll get to it. But anyway, you meet the organization member. There's that tense moment where he's basically trying to separate you from your friends, and you get separated from Woody. He takes Woody, and then you basically fight the Heartless, and then you get him back.
Yeah, exactly. Or no, he takes because the interesting thing about this too is they made Buzz like the one who was like not believing in friendship. Remember that? And that's like the darkness.
Oh, right.
Remember the darkness was eating.
They take Buzz.
Yeah, they take Buzz because the darkness was like eating him up because he was like just doubting his friendships and this and I think it was whether Andy wanted them anymore or a couple things like that. Anyway,
right.
Like Buzz was the one who was just like all like epically moody, and he's like, I don't trust these guys, blah blah blah. And I was like, whoa, this is because in the past, like in Toy Story 1 and stuff, Woody was the one that was all scared of friendship and
that's right,
whatever. But Buzz was the one. But through every level you meet an organization member. I just can't remember which one this was, but either way, it doesn't really matter. It didn't even play like a big part, story script. That's why I can't remember.
Yeah, and there's that tense moment, and then you're taken to the boss fight, which is like that UFO spaceship thing.
Yeah, it's like a toy UFO, and but they transport you to like a different like boss level, I guess.
Yeah,
or a map.
Yeah, it's like a whole. They like juggles up the entire world and turns into like this huge platform that like buildings would come up and down, and things would fly at you, and you could use your little techniques to kind of go from item to item, and you got cure to heal yourself in this level as well, so that helped out a lot during that fight.
Oh god, just like
then
every time you get something like that, it's so good.
Yeah, and there's so much in this world, like so many little things, and just like you're climbing up through the play place and the ball pit and the toys, and so much little just the story kind of going along that we can't really cover in a 45-minute podcast, but overall the story was good. I really liked the level. I mean, maybe it was pretty long, but I just felt like it was I wanted it to be longer just because I love Toy Story.
Yeah, I think out of all the levels, this one and Tangled were probably the ones I wanted more from as well. I don't think it detracted from the game that much, but it's just like I just wanted more because I was having such a good time.
Yeah, I kind of was like, oh, all the other Kingdom Hearts games, you come back and there's more story to it. So I was like, I'll probably circle back. But at the end of the game, it was like, oh, it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll get to that part. So going to the next world was Monstropolis or Arendelle. Which did you do first?
I did Monstropolis first. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did too. This was the lowest on my list. This was my least favorite.
Yeah.
Oh, which by the way, Toy Box 10 out of 10 for me. Loved it. Thought it was great.
Yeah, I'm up there too. I think it was almost a perfect like level for me as well. I thought it was freaking great. So
yeah.
Cool.
So Monstropolis, I'm just not a big Monsters Inc. fan anyway. Like I've just never really been a fan of the movies, but like this level just wasn't. It just didn't feel anything to write home about. Felt like a filler, honestly.
It was. I liked it, but I'm not I'm not a super huge Monsters Inc. fan as well. But I liked it. I just wasn't, I kind of felt. I think the level design was pretty good, just because of like you got to get on the slides, like the door. So like where the doors go in the movies, where like they come through they're on hinges and they like kind of slide down, and you got to like almost air surf and do that, and then you'd stop and do something else and then air surf.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
Those aspects of it were fun, and the story of what was going on felt fluid, which was cool.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, it was all about all that. That's cool. It just like I said, I think I just feel so disconnected to Monstropolis and Monsters Inc. and all that, just because I have no I have zero like connection to the movie.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree with you. Like the same thing is I'm not super connected to it as well, but I did enjoy the level. Like I didn't think it was terrible. I liked it. I did like it a lot. I thought like I said, the level design was really good. The combat was fine. Like I liked it. I just didn't. I'm kind of the same way. It's just like it's just not my favorite movie. So I enjoyed it. I just didn't love it as much as the other ones.
Yeah.
So
yeah, for sure. So you basically just weave your way into. There's a couple of bosses. There's the unversed boss, which is like the goo on the floor that keeps coming up, and you fight that and you beat that. And then there's the final boss, which is the lump of horror, is what it was called, and it was just a big ball of like goop that you fought.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like it was the unversed boss.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just a side note on story is that they basically started introducing all of the baddies of all the games into like there was Heartless in one world, and then there was like the Unverse, which is another obviously thing, and then there was the nobodies and blah blah blah. So it kind of got brought up to you like a different way, instead of it was just being like the same menus, which I thought that was nice.
Yeah, it was good. It was cool how they implemented all of those kind of things into the game down to the very end, which we'll get into a little bit. So they're saying the next world would have been 100 Acre Wood, and it was very lackluster.
Oh my god!
This time around,
I
was like, it's over.
I know.
I was like, what? What just happened?
I mean,
just these mini games and that's it. And I get the Keyblade, and they're like, "Love you, Sora. See you later."
I to be honest with you, I love mini games, so I didn't. I just
I like the games. I just wanted more.
I know. I wish you could have just played them for like a reward or something. Like yeah, you can get this extra Keyblade, but there still was kind of like a Winnie the Pooh story, because Winnie the Pooh is one of my favorite things in the world. Like even just in general, I wear my Winnie the Pooh shirt to go to the gym all the time, and everyone looks at me and they're like, "Who's this guy? Who's this buff dude with Winnie the Pooh on his shirt?" Because I just love it. But like for instance, animation, awesome. It looks great, sounded great. It just like I just wanted more because I love Winnie the Pooh, and the other ones were a lot cooler, I guess. The other times they did Winnie the Pooh, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. It just was very lackluster to me. It was like, okay, it's over and moving on,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that. It was kind of, I wouldn't even consider that a world. It was just like a mini room that Winnie the Pooh hung out in because there was really nothing else to it. You know?
You had to do it, but I like the Keyblade from it. The Keyblade was sweet. You just like shoot honey and
shoot honey.
And you get like a honey gun. It's like it's so cool.
Like you got the 2 honey guns that you're just flying around shooting, and then it turns into this honey blaster, and then you have like this epic attack afterwards.
Oh, dude, the Keyblade was sweet. It was not a land though. It was just it was like a mini game that you had to complete to get your Keyblade.
Yeah. Yep, that's it. And then it was over.
Yeah.
And I was shocked.
I was like, please.
And then moving on, the next world would have been Arendelle. Mm-hmm. And this is probably my second favorite behind Toy Box, just because I liked that movie and I liked the whole world. It was just really, I thought it was pretty. I thought it was another one of those where it wasn't really open world-ish. You just kind of went from place to place to like the Ice Palace, to the labyrinth, I wish there would have been like town, it was just all up the mountain, the whole thing.
Same.
And I wish there would have been like the town part of it, like they did in Tangled, which I thought was a really cool aspect of it. But like this story was cool. The Valley of Ice, the Frozen Wall, the labyrinth you went through. It was kind of puzzle-ish, maze-ish. The world itself was beautiful, The bosses were cool, and how you eventually joined forces with the ice monster, Marshmallow. That's what he's called.
Yep, exactly.
And then you get to the very end, and the whole part where the Let It Go, they do the Let It Go, this whole song, which that was neat.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that whole sequence. It was funny because my once again, my son, he's watching like all these movies right now, and he's like addicted to them. And so that part, he was just kind of like, "What's going on?" And then the Let It Go part came on, and he got silent and sat in his chair, and he's just like, "I'm in. You sold me. Let's play."
Yeah. Man, I like this boss fight. I was just looking through, like the boss fight was really cool. So
yeah, that was sick.
Like it's like a heartless ice wolf, and then.
Yeah, you know what he reminded me of, if you're a Digimon fan, Garurumon.
Oh, maybe that's why I liked it. It definitely was like Garurumon, but it was fast paced, and that one was probably the first time I was like, man, this is pretty challenging.
Oh yeah, it was fun. It was a fun boss fight, and then also just joining, like getting the ice monster to join your team was just awesome, and doing like the special attacks with him and things like that. So I was really high on this level. I really liked it. That might be kind of a hot take because I don't know about other people. I haven't really read what the reviews on this one was, but
yeah, I enjoyed it, but like there's parts of it, like for instance, like the ice cast. I think probably because it looks good, but since it's hard to make something like snow outstanding because it's all just white, I guess.
White, yeah.
So
I agree with that.
It was. I think it had some of my favorite. It had some of my favorite enemies because remember it had the rock guy with the club, and you had to attack him from the back, and he was like difficult, and then the ice dragons, and I think the voice acting was really good. I don't know. It was a weird one just because it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to make like snow look better than it is, which is just why.
Yeah, and that's where like I've felt like. There could have been like the town, the castle, all that in there, which would have, I think that would have given a perfect 10 for me because that would have just given that diversity that it needed. But like that saying, like this was still one of my favorite levels. So
yeah, I liked it. It wasn't my favorite, but I definitely enjoyed it. Like there's parts of it I didn't really, for some reason, I remember just not really loving the ice castle. Like just walking through it, I just was like, oh yeah, kind of a drag.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it was cool. You got a lot of good items out of that.
Yeah, you did.
There's like a little boss fight in there that you had to do and all that, but mini boss fight. But yeah, so and it flowed pretty nicely. I didn't feel like I felt like I was done with it by the end of it. I was good on it. I was like, okay, that was great. Okay, moving on. So anyway,
right. Cool.
So the next you could go to 2 levels. One was Caribbean and one was San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
Which one did you do first?
I honestly can't remember. I think I went to the Caribbean first.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, I think you did. I think we both did it because we were like right at the same, right on the same page at that point.
Yeah.
So, what was your take on this one
I know this
versus Kingdom Hearts 2?
Yeah, like holy crap, this was like night and day for this level. I think this was by far, even though this was a repeat level as well, this was by far the most improved. I actually I didn't think I was gonna love this one, but I really really enjoyed this level. Even though, yeah, like I mean, to me, it had a lot of cool diversity because obviously there was the ships where you're like having a battle against the ships. So some naval battle, which is whatever.
Yeah.
Then you had the flying Heartless that you had to beat in the beginning and like jump on its back and ride the other ones around. The enemies just like on the ships were cool, and then you had like the part where you went underneath the water and you had to fight like the giant fish.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that was cool. There was so, like you said, this level. I had actually forgotten that this wasn't a new world.
I
like
did too.
That it was so refreshing. Like there were so many aspects to, like, you felt like you were doing something different all the time.
Yeah, because remember too, like even you go to the port as well in this level, so because you have to find the crabs at the port.
Yeah,
the port was there. Like
that was a little annoying.
This was probably it was annoying, but this was probably one of the biggest. Like it did feel like almost very open world, large scale.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was really open world because I mean, you just get in your ship and get in the ocean. You go to all the different places and you sail to them. You don't get teleported. You sail to them.
Yeah, totally. I thought this was definitely a huge, obviously, improvement of graphics. I really enjoyed it. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it. I was totally down. So
yeah, no, the story was good. It was fun. The ship battles, I actually liked the ship battle. I thought it was cool. It was the same. Organization member that was in the first one. You ended up battling him and his ship army at the end of it.
Yeah.
But it was fun. Even the underwater part I liked. I was kind of like, oh crap! I thought we got rid of Ariel.
Like, holy crap!
Yeah, I thought we got rid of Ariel in this game, but like I did it, and I was like, oh, that was fun. It wasn't bad because it wasn't the whole game. It wasn't the whole level. Then you end up fighting Davy Jones at the end.
Yeah, I mean that is all good.
The Kraken.
Yeah, you just have to like take his ship down and take the Kraken down at the same time. I didn't really know what happened. Like I died like at least once to this level because I was like, "What do you do?" And I just kept on shooting the middle. I was like, "He's almost dying. Is this gonna work?"
Yeah, but the one thing that was like going through my head is kind of a sidebar. Like through the entire level was just like that Lonely Island song, Jack Sparrow. This is the tale of Captain Jack Sparrow.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
I was thinking about that while
I'm gonna after this. I'm gonna go listen to that now that you got it stuck in my brain.
Yeah,
too funny.
Anyway, but this was a great level. I mean, just I did like the only thing that annoyed me was the crabs, but even that didn't annoy me that bad.
Yeah, no, I mean it was kind of annoying getting them, but honestly, every game has a collection as part of it. It's just like a mechanic that happens, so it's all good.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give it just a 10 out of 10 for this level for me. Like,
yeah, I think this was a great one. It's definitely like 8 or 9, 10, whatever you want to call it. It was. Yeah. I don't think there was that much wrong with it, and it took mechanics that I don't normally like ship battle and like ocean or swimming, and made it completely okay. So.
Yep. Agreed.
And then San Francisco.
Okay, so moving on. San Francisco. I'll let you go. You start on this one because like I liked it, but I was also kind of bummed about it.
So let me say by starting this, I've seen this movie one time.
Oh really?
So
I've seen this movie like a billion times.
I know you have. So let me just that's why I'm going to give my piece of it first. Is I've seen this movie one time. I do remember it maybe twice, but I have it's not been on my library. I don't have like kids, so I haven't just gone back and watching it.
I own this movie, and my son literally watches it and the series and like weekly.
Right. So let me say this: I did enjoy this level, like it was good, but this was actually one of my least favorite levels.
Yeah, Yeah, I would have to agree with
Yeah.
that. And this is like my favorite Disney movie.
It's
Seriously.
that's awesome. I know that it's like one of your favorites, but there was parts of it that I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, but dude, this world was just not. It was kind of confusing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just didn't give me it just didn't give me the feels.
Yeah, it was very open worldy.
It was,
which was cool.
yeah.
Like which we were kind of asking for in some places, and it was cool to ride around on Baymax and fly around on that. I didn't like the whole like ring thing where you're just trying to like go through the rings. Like I hate that crap. I'm just like, let's just do story, you know. So, the bosses were like the dinosaur heartless Catastracorus. He was like a musical heartless dinosaur thing. And then you got the Dark Cube, which were basically like the microbots. That was the boss. And then Dark Baymax, which that was one thing I think this level was cool. Like they brought in all the Dark Riku part of it and all that, you know, with the organization and all that. But it also expounded on the actual story of Big Hero 6, which the Baymax gets lost in the other dimension, the original one, and then Hero eventually builds a new one, which is the one you're playing with in the game. And then that Baymax is recovered by the organization, and he's the enemy in the level. Mm-hmm. So anyway, the Dark Baymax fight, that was cool, where you're basically just like flying around on Baymax trying to hit him.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I think the dark cubes, like the boss fight, I enjoyed that. I mean, there was 3 boss fights because it was the Dark Cubes, Dark Baymax, and the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah, the dinosaur. Yeah, it was cool.
It was open. It did feel big, and it was open. I don't know. It just didn't. It just felt like a big city, kind of, but it didn't really offer.
The story in the beginning didn't carry as much like weight to it. It was just kind of like you go to the garage, you talk to Hero, then you go back out and you do some missions, and
then
Hero's talking to you
through a bunch of rings and want to kill yourself.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then you try to save the Big Hero 6 from like their whatever they're trapped in and all that, and like Hero just wasn't a part of the game, which was sad, you know. Like I wanted to fight along Hero and Baymax, not just like be Hero in the game.
Yeah.
So anyway, there were like, it was cool when the story was going on. All the in between stuff just frustrated me.
Yeah, man. I wasn't on board with this one.
The entry sequence was cool when they're on the bridge and like you're fighting the things. It like gets you super hyped when Big Hero 6 shows up and you're like, oh man, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And then just from there, it just kind of like went downhill until the end with the whole Dark Riku thing, you know, where you're figuring all that out.
Exactly. So, I mean, for me, this was probably one of my lowest scores. This is like down there with the Coliseum. I don't know.
Yeah.
They had something so cool to do with it, and I think they just this was the one world I was like, this kind of misses the mark for me.
Yep, 100%. But like,
it's not bad
as being a part of the story. It's not horrible, but it's not like I was definitely like, okay, I'm glad this is over. You know, I don't want to jump through any more rings.
Yeah, I just was. So, I was like, okay, I'm doing this because I want to advance the story, but not because I'm super excited about where I'm at.
Yeah. The Keyblade you got from this was pretty sick, but it like still coming from the Keyblade from Pirates of the Caribbean was even better.
Dude, the Keyblade from Pirates of the Caribbean, I took that thing to the end. I loved that Keyblade.
I did. That was my final Keyblade that I used.
Dude, I felt like you know that Assassin's Creed game Black Flag? Well, it has nothing to do with it, but whenever it turns into the flag, I'm like, dude, I'm the pirate.
He plants the flag.
The flag.
I am the pirate king.
I am the black flag. Like I love that Keyblade. It was so fun. Mm-hmm. I think that's the thing too, is coming from Pirates is I was on a high. I was like, oh dude, yeah, it's gonna be great. Let's go to this next one. And nope.
Yep. Nope. Yeah. So anyway, you're coming down the line here and it turns into, like the game is on the way out, you know?
Yeah, you got it.
It's crazy.
So there's a couple of cutscenes in in the game where it's just like Riku and Mickey are together and they're in the dark world. They're trying to find Aqua because Aqua's been stuck in the dark world for like, since the beginning, basically, just like running around. And if you played the Kingdom Hearts 2.8, she's in the dark world. Anyway, so you go back to the dark world.
So basically, you end up saving her. You have that fight.
Yeah, which to me, all of these is when the boss fights got really hard, but really, really enjoyable part of the story. I loved this part.
Yeah, it kind of revved up.
Yeah, it revved up big time.
Yeah, and then you, so like you're doing all this parts, and you have collected the 7 Keyblade. What do they call them? Keyblade Guardians or whatever.
No, you're about to get the Power of Awakening.
Yeah, but like you're all kind of joining your team. You're figuring out like you got Kairi, Riku, Aqua, Ventus, like.
Well, you don't have Ventus yet. That comes right after this. Remember?
Oh right, yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm getting things jumbled up.
Okay, so you go to the dark world. You find Aqua. Aqua basically gets consumed with the darkness because she's it got to her, so she's kind of mad about what's going on. So you fight her, and then basically you at that point, that's when you get the power of. Is that the point? Yeah, you get the Power of Awakening right then. So she's like in this weird slumber, and you like basically chase into the dark world after her, and you guys make it out. So it's you and her together, and then she's like, "Oh, I know where Vanitas is." No, Ventus. Sorry, Vanitas is the bad guy.
Ventus. Yeah.
And she's like, "All right, let's go get him now," because obviously he's really important to the story and to everything else. So you go to where do you go to? The Land of Departure, which is a totally another thing, which trying to explain the story just it's confusing. But you go there and you fight Vanitas, which is
Ventus's brother.
Kind of like I don't know how to.
He called him brother in the game, so it was like a weird kind of like they're the same. Him and Sora are like the same person, but they're different. Like
it's the darkness from Ventus's heart and the source of the unversed. So, like he looks like he looks like Sora because they're all him
connected. Yeah,
him like Vanitas, Ventus, Roxas, and Sora are all basically kind of different versions or a part of each other. That's why Roxas he couldn't even be there at a point because he was inside Sora. And he didn't have a body. So, but anyway, he's basically like Dark Ventus or Dark Sora, if you could say.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny, like what he's there. He's just there to cause havoc. But you fight him, which was cool because that's just part of it. Defeat him, and then at that point, because you have all the pals, you go to the Keyblade graveyard. So this is like basically that you go to the Lost World. This is the end game.
Yep. Then which is like you said, the Keyblade graveyard, and that's where it all kind of comes to a head, where you end up finding out that the organization has control over Terra, and you basically take him back, get him back.
Yeah, it's not even the organization; it's just what's his name?
Xehanort.
Yeah, Xehanort has control over Terra, and he, obviously, because he basically split himself up. So, because he has, it's Xehanort. It's like Xehanort, Xemnas, Ansem.
Yeah.
And is that it's just 3 of them, right? And then Terra. He basically just possesses Terra.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he just possesses Terra at that point.
Yeah, and so you're with all the Guardians of Light. You end up fighting like it wasn't the whole organization, was it? It was just everybody that was included in the organization game. Who was left at that point?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much you fight a lot of people because I'll show you. I'll tell you right now. You fight. Yeah, so basically you have the Keyblade graveyard, and you're fighting like a bunch of bosses or just like waves of dudes. So you like do that, and then Xehanort's there, and he's like, "Come get me," basically, And then after you defeat Actually, it's funny because at the everyone pretty much gets like almost dead, and then like you die, but then go into like you. It was almost like I was like, wait, is that it? Like, how did I die?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it brings you back, and you and the power of friendship wins.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, and so you fight Zigbar, which is the guy with the guns.
And then the Riku replica.
Yep, and then you fight Luxord
and Larxene.
Yeah, Larxene, and then let's see.
And then you fight
who's
Terra, who's possessed by Xehanort, and Vanitas again.
That's right. Yep, and then
Sykes.
Finally. Yep, Ansem.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, so you do Sykes and Mysterious Person.
Yeah, that's right. And then, which is the Riku clone, right?
No. Who's the mysterious person? I can't remember. Because he had his hood on.
I can't remember that. I'm blanking.
Yeah.
That's why I need to play the game again.
So Sykes is the guy with the like X across his face.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay.
And then that's with Axel and Lee, and then and then you are up against Sykes and a mysterious enemy. So the mysterious enemy is, I don't think it even says. No, it doesn't. Remember, because it like at that point it's just Sykes.
That was a thing.
Yeah, that was a thing.
Yeah. So anyway, then you fight Riku, its clone, and then you fight Riku's clone eventually, and that's where you take the body back, right?
No, you fight Riku's replica with Zigbar. That was like one of the first one.
That's right.
Yeah,
okay.
and he's fighting himself, or like you're fighting him with Zigbar.
Gotcha. And then they take Kairi, and Sora's all pissed.
Yep.
And then you fight Ansem, Xehanort, and young Xehanort.
Or Xemnas
And young Xehanort.
Yeah, so but basically the way it goes is Ansem is the enemy that you fight in the first game, and then Xemnas is the one you fight in the second game, and then young Xehanort you fight in Dream Drop Distance. Yeah,
so it was like all that whole boss battle. What did you think of that fight in particular? Because the other ones were kind of just run of the mill. You beat them and you move on. You know, that was kind of like the one it was leading up to at that part of the game.
It was freaking hard. Like, it was fun, but it was intense. Like, I was like, my hands were like sweating. It was. I'm glad it was really intense because it was like I enjoyed it. Like, I thought it was good. I don't think it was as epic as like I remember in Xemnas, like Kingdom Hearts 2. Like that felt so big to me, where like you had to run to him, then you fight him, and then at the very end you go to like the white world, and it was so hard and like epic. Like
there's so many parts to that original battle with him, and this one was it was just a long battle, you know, because you're fighting 3 at once basically.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So, yeah. So, anyway, that was hard. Like I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good battle. I mean, the other ones basically when you fighting, you know, Zigbar and Sykes and all these other guys, even like Vanitas and stuff, which I love how Vanitas turns good, kind of. Or no, he wants to turn good, but he can't. He's just like, do you remember that?
Yeah, that's right. Yep. And
but anyway, that was all good. But this was the best battle out of all of them for sure.
Yeah, and then that's it, man. Like you prepare for the final battle after you beat that, you know?
Yeah. So, cause you basically just fight the organization as it is now. And you're, and then you go to Xehanort, which is, like Mickey tries to use the ultimate attack on him, and he uses like this Stopega or whatever on Mickey. And then, you know, he has Kairi. Like that's the whole point is he has like, which, and after we talk about like what happens basically to this point, like I have really big thoughts on this. So so you do that, and then the last is you got a Scala ad Kalium or Callum, which is the upside down world with the clocks.
Yep.
Which was
all of that.
Yeah, that's basically. I mean, it's like what 3 parts or 4 parts, and this is the final. This is the final battle. So, what did you think about the final battle?
I mean, it was fun, but kind of lackluster in the end. You know, like it just felt like it was pretty easy. You know?
Really, there was parts of
Yeah.
it that I was so close to dying. Like at the very
Oh, really?
yeah, like the man, I'm trying to think. Like the first part of it, I didn't die. I didn't die when he were like basically flying or underwater. But the third part of it, where
Yeah.
he was using like the beams of light and you're running around, like
Mm-hmm.
he almost took me out. Like that to me that was pretty hard. But
Yeah. I mean, like it was hard until you figured out like exact pattern of what was going on for me, and then it just kind of like it was like this long drawn out battle like they always have at the end of each Kingdom Hearts game, and then there's more, and then there's more, and then you just fight Master Xehanort and you're done.
yeah, what did you think about the last battle? Because at this point, if you don't know,
I liked his.
yeah, basically
I liked his Keyblade sword thing.
He has, I don't know what that's called, but it's basically 2 Keyblades that have been
Yeah.
that with all the hearts of with all the hearts of like basically he takes Kyrie's heart. What's what he really needs?
Kingdom Hearts.
So he can open Kingdom
Yeah.
Hearts.
Yeah, it's like the big key.
I can't remember what key it is, but it's sick.
Yeah. No, it was pretty cool. I was like, can I have that weapon
Yeah, I
for the
know.
game?
But
But yeah, and then it just like as far as the whole thing, it was just it like
it's over.
it was it was over. I mean, and I was kind of like a little left like, oh, like, oh, that's it. That's how I felt. I don't know about you.
Yeah, dude, I was. So here's the deal: is we played 40 hours. Everything along the way, I was waiting for the point where I was like, dang, when like I'm excited now. Like, what's next? When is the story gonna advance? And realistically, the story never advanced until you just beat him.
Yeah, exactly.
like,
It was
what?
over. Yeah, it was kind of you're stuck in this thing and you're gathering the 7 Guardians of Light, and then you get the 7 Guardians of Light, and then you have this whole thing with the final world and that whole weird thing, and then you come back and then you fight all the organization members that are left that are like in Xehanort's control type thing, clear all that out, and then you fight the main 3 guys and then the main guy, and then it's like, okay, now this story's moving on.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because like. Did you watch like the little movie that came with 2.8?
I did.
Yeah, so like the end, the post game, like there's that whole cutscene at the end. I'm like, oh, this is over. It's done, And then there's the whole post thing with Zigbar, and the cutscene at the end where you like realize that this isn't over yet,
I know. It just it really frustrated me because I wish they would have just sprinkled. It just felt for waiting 10 years. Like, for instance, number one, let me just say this: the gameplay and the graphics and the fluidity of the game were like 10 out of 10. The gameplay is like it's
beautiful.
fluid, like changing. You get like all these ultimate moves. It's great. Like it was such a polished game in that aspect. But
no glitching,
No.
things like that. It was all like super fluid and nice. And
but
I just felt like it felt like the end of Lost, kind of like like God, this just like really? That's it? Kind of thing. And it's kind of like you knew that's what it was all building up to anyway, but when it kind of finally came, it was like, really? Like it's over? The kind of thing.
It really honestly it frustrated me because they packed in the last like 2 hours of what probably needed 10 to really just explain and just to build up to. Like the build up was just like, oh, you beat San Francisco. Okay, you're at the last level and all the bad guys are there right in a row. Like instead of even putting the bad guys in, they just like and it was like, oh, what about, and even talking about like the dynamic between Kyrie and Sora or like Axel, it just, it would show them training and it's like, oh, I'm really excited to see you, Sora. And that's like basically the whole premise of their relationship is, they're like these friends that are kind of in love or whatever.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
and then it just literally,
Yeah.
it didn't build upon it at all.
Yeah, they're like adults now, right? You know, at this point in their lives, it's like make out, like do like they are together finally. Like it's all good, you know. Like,
Yeah,
you guys can be together finally. It's not like the end of Final Fantasy VIII where Squall and Renoa finally are together and they're so happy and they're like kissing and like the whole, you know, it was like a love story, you know, and that's what Kingdom Hearts has been building up to, like, you know, all that, and it just kind of seemed empty at the end, you know.
So, but the problem is they give it to you just so you, because at the end of the movie, or not the movie, at the end of the game, you've gotten like enough of a taste of what's really good about the game, which is the gameplay was really good, the graphics were intense. There was moments like Arendelle, Pirates, Corona, and Toy Story, like those 4 levels were so good.
Yeah,
but.
Yep.
They it's almost like they needed 10 more hours of like explaining and like divulging the story, which was between Kairi and Sora, and then like even Axel's past, and they kind of did put that in there a little bit, but I think I was just thirsting for like more of that story. And
and you know what they could have done with that is added 3 more Disney worlds to explain all that too. You know, like because they explain a lot of stuff in those Disney worlds, and they could have brought more into the game. I think, you know, it just was one of those things. They had been dragging this series out for a long time, and tell me what you think about this idea of like they should have just done a Kingdom Hearts 3 and included all of that middle stuff, you know, like all the Game Boy and the PSP games, and you know, kind of put that into one console game, and then done a Kingdom Hearts 4 and put like the other half of that into this, plus all of what happened here. And a little more. You know?
I mean, it really. But here's the deal: is they're like, this is the end of the Sora saga. But the whole thing about it is, it may be the end of the Sora saga for now. But spoilers. This is going to be spoilers because we have to say it. But at the end of the game, Sora's like, hey, you know, we closed Kingdom Hearts. We did it together. But Kairi, like, where's Kairi? Because Xehanort used her heart to open Kingdom Hearts. Like she needed, she was what he needed all along, right? Which was the ultimate prize. But at this point, the only way to to go get Kairi was for Sora to go use the power of awakening and go like basically down this rabbit hole, like literally a rabbit hole, to find Kairi and bring her back. Well, the ending cutscene is everyone's there, and then you see Kairi and Sora together.
Yeah.
But he's not there.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is, obviously this will be explained in the next game, but he went and did that and either got lost doing it or somehow got her out and died or got stuck himself.
Yeah.
So either way,
so it's not over.
It's not over.
Yeah.
Like they told, and even at the post credits scenes, because the whole in the game, there's Pete and who's the dragon lady from Maleficent looking for this black box. Well, guess what? They find it at the very end of the game, and they're like, "Huh, interesting." It's like, okay.
and also the guy Zigbar, who's not actually Zigbar. Yeah. He's actually the hooded guy from the movie. Right. You know, and then all those Guardians come in, and they have like this cutscene, and he's got the black box, and then it's like, oh, okay, well, what's next? You know, so.
Exactly. So basically, Zigbar is some ancient being that has been able to take on people's bodies or take on their faces.
Yeah.
And so it was,
which I am so happy to move past the Xehanort saga and move into whatever this next one's going to be.
Oh, yeah.
Which was cool, but I just think like they just wrapped it up kind of too fast. Like the writers went on strike and then they came back and they're like, let's just finish this. You know, like that's not what happened, but it's what happened in Lost. You know, going back to that analogy. You know, and but anyway, it was like very anticlimactic at the end to me.
It was.
You know?
It had climax, like it was getting there, but it just literally needed even another hour of. It needed a little bit of salt and peppering throughout the game of Sora and Kairi's relationship and like that whole deal, and like Axel and Naminé obviously too. Like those, like they're just like kind of this like weird thing. It didn't explain it at all, and then it just basically burnt Kairi. And at the very end of the game, you're like, oh, did he go find her? And then it's like, no, he's not there. So where did he go?
Yep.
And so I don't.
And Riku wasn't there either, was he?
No, he was.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
Riku
right.
was there. It was literally everyone but Sora. So
Yeah.
which I'm fine.
So
I'm fine with that, but and I'm fine with Xehanort being the saga being done. Like it's played out for sure, but it's just like why?
So the secret scene. Did you see that one?
Yeah. Which one? Which
yeah.
one are
So
you talking about?
where they wake up in the city.
Yes.
Yeah. So Sora and Riku wake up in this unknown city, which a lot of people think is the world of The World Ends With You. That game.
Mm-hmm.
That was featured in Dream Drop Distance and was its own Square Enix game. But and then there was also that weird thing in Toy Box where it had like the preview for that other game,
Right.
So whatever that has to do with any of that, but they wake up in kind of that, and that's like the end.
Yeah. So I forgot that Riku wakes up in that too, but either way, it just maybe it's the Riku saga, maybe it's a different person saga or like a new baddie. I'm fine with that, but it just when they said, "Oh, this is going to be the end of Kingdom Hearts 3 and the Sora saga," I was like, "Oh, they're going to wrap this up, and at least at the end, somehow, some way, it's going to be Sora and Kairi, and then there's going to be someone else that takes the stage or the next game." But realistically, like they didn't do that. They just made Kingdom Hearts 4 even or
more confusing.
Yeah, it's just like wait.
Oh. Yeah, so as far like we could go for probably 2 hours on this game, but as far as my overall as far as my overall feeling on like how it ended, I just felt very left open. So.
Which is what they do so that 10 years later after this, they sell 50 million copies. Like
yeah, and I'm like to the point now where I played all those games in between and everything. I just like if they start coming out with these other little games, prequel all around how we're going to build up to this, I'm just not going to play them. I'm just like, I spent so much time and doing all this and getting to this point for this, kind of like, this is how it ends, but I think that the, like, if they do another console game, they continue the story, I will buy it, I'll play it, and I'll be in, I'm sure it'll be good, whatever, but I'm burnt out on it right now, kind of, and just the end of it was just like, okay, I'm glad I'm like, I got other things to do anyway, kind of thing. I'm not like going to be pissed about this, but I'm not like extremely happy about it either.
Yeah. Man, I feel the same way. I am burnt out right now. Like just emotionally, like I'm just like, oh my God, like please just, if you could have put some finality of like what happened, like, oh, Sora this or this, what happens, but they didn't. They said it was going to be the end of Sora saga. Well, that's fine, but why did you show a secret ending with Sora and Riku like waking up in a random city together?
Because it's the end of this part of his saga, not the other part.
Kill me now.
Yeah. No, but overall the game was good. Like I agree with the reviews and it was great. It was just like I think in the other games I looked so much forward to the story part of the game. And in this part I didn't as much. I liked the Disney worlds. I liked those stories and like that part of the game a lot better.
So I completely agree. I wanted the story part to be like out just crazy. I've been like and really back into books recently, and I've been reading some incredible good books that leave you even on cliffhangers, but they leave it with enough finality that you feel satisfied, but you want more. This one didn't. Yeah, this one just didn't satisfy me. I just want more. Like,
yeah,
it's a crap out
100%.
Without a fix, man.
That's awesome. Yeah. Oh man. Anyway, like I'm glad I played it. I'm glad I got it. There's no way I wasn't going to. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm just like, okay, we'll see what happens. We'll see what they announce next year and the next year, and then it comes out. And I just hope they don't wait a whole long time. Like, I don't think they like were waiting to make this game. I think it was just like they got other projects in the way, and it just never came to fruition. And they're like, we'll just sprinkle them with these little games. But if they come out with the next one, console in like a few years, I'll feel good about it. I'll play it and be excited about it.
Totally. I mean, even if they do the next game on Switch or whatever, I don't really care. In 2 years, I just need to sit on all this for a little bit just because it was so kind of frustrating. But okay, yeah. So ending of this game, or just as a whole, how many Keyblades out of 10?
Oh man, I'm gonna just like solely based on just the ending. Like, I'm gonna give it like. Probably if I was basing it on the ending, like a 4. If I'm basing it on the entire game, I'll give it like an 8. You know?
Yeah, you.
Does that make sense?
100%, dude. So the ending was frustrating. I didn't think it was like bad as a 4, but it was like, oh my god, this is like a 6 or a 5 to me. But honestly, the entire game still was great. I think it's an 8. But my level of frustration at the end was definitely a 4.
I'll definitely play it again eventually, and maybe I'll feel differently about it. Maybe I'll get more out of it, whatever, but not anytime soon. I probably won't play it again, and I definitely probably won't play the other games ever again either. I've played them so much at this point, though. Like, I'm burnt out and I'm done, you know?
Yeah, I think I'm done, too. I'm not going to go back to the other ones. I think, like, I'm just going to swap them out for something that's, there's a lot of other good titles out there, but... It wasn't a perfect game by any means. I think but overall it was really, really good. It just the ending just threw me for such a bad. It wasn't even that like the ending was like the gameplay was still good and everything else. It just was like I just was thirsting and I was never quenched.
Yeah. So. Yep. Exactly. That's it. I mean, it's just you can't get a good drink of water at the end of it. I like it. So anyway, yeah, well, that was a long-winded kind of review of the game and overarching. Like, we basically just talked about how it all went and what we felt like we liked about the worlds and things like that. And, and do you have anything else to say about this ending or, like what you could look forward to it turning into eventually, or do you even have an idea what it might be, or like were you left with any of that?
No, I think I was just like a little bit butthurt at the very end, so I'm not looking to get burned right now. I think I'm just gonna sit on it. I really, when I was playing the game, like 99% of it, I was just like a smile on my face. I really liked it. It was good. It's just the end of it, I was just like, really? Why did you do this when you knew everyone had waited around for freaking 15 years? Like,
this game needed 20 hours more, and I would have waited whatever.
I would have waited another couple of years, 5 years, if it had that little extra of, I think the character development, but the problem is they've had so many side games. I think they were like, you guys just need the main story, or like, there's no use developing the characters anymore. Just give you some good,
Let's just cut to the chase here. Yeah.
But
like the chase wasn't good. It wasn't great. Like you didn't cut to it. You just left us wondering.
I know. It was really good. I'm totally like, I'm happy I played it. I had like I said, good time 9 hours of the time. It's just the ending was like, dude, really?
Yeah. Through the whole game I enjoyed it and I was like, I can't wait to play more, and I kind of took my time a little more with this one, rather just because I wasn't 16 anymore. I'm like almost 30 and I have a life to live.
Right.
Like, so I kind of took my time a little more with this game, and I know you did too. Just not playing it like all the time, taking some time away from it and things like that. But still beat it, and I could have if I would have sat, I could have beat this game in a couple days.
Right. Exactly.
And that would have made me feel probably really bad about it.
Yeah, I'm glad I took my time with it too, because if I would have sat down for like 3 days and played it, I would have just been like, wow, I think I might have felt even worse about it, but I don't feel bad about it. I just feel a little bit just kind of disappointed at the very end. It wasn't even the game; it was just the very end. I just wanted a little bit more, but it's okay.
Yep, exactly. It's like. But anyway, so that was kind of our roundup on that. I don't think we have time to talk about much else, so we'll get to other things next week. But so do you want to try to finish Mario RPG and do that next week?
Yep. Yeah, so I've played a good bit of Mario RPG. I'm actually really enjoying that game.
I know. Yeah, it's fun.
I was really surprised. Just a preview for what we do next week. Like I think this is a good one. So we'll do a little review of Mario RPG.
Cool, man. That sounds awesome. Yeah, well, until next time, this has been the Karate in the Garage podcast. Thanks for sticking with us. Sorry about the break. I think this just needs to be the breaking point for season 1 to season 2. We have some episodes in the tank, and I think we just like Mario RPG will be the start of season 2. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm down.
Cool, man.
We had a long enough break, so this is just a special episode. Like, we need to put a disclaimer. It's very long and monotonous, but yeah, it was a lot to go over. But we'll be back to format next week. Next week, and we'll just kind of go from there, being consistent with new games that we're gonna play.
Yeah, and this game really is just like, or this podcast is really to like get our thoughts out on it and to like maybe help you like expand your thoughts on what you think about it, as the listener, and like where, and if you have thoughts about it, email us. We'd love to discuss it with you, and if we have to, in a little more depth too. So like that'd be cool.
Yeah, I'd really like to like either have someone on or just get an email about maybe someone who's not that hardcore like us on what their what their thoughts of the game were, because I think we're kind of looking at it through a glass, like a full glass of knowledge and just like love for the game. I would really like to see someone who just is like a casual about this and just kind of what they think.
Yeah, this game has been a part of our lives for a really long time.
Yeah, so. It's like literally like some of the glue that puts our friendship together. So
yeah, 100%, man. Yeah.
Oh man.
Anyway, dude. All right, man. Well, it's good to talk to you, and we will be back next week with Mario RPG.
All right, sir.
So until next time.
Talk to you later.
I'm Mason.
And it's me.
Yeah, Weston. Okay. All right. Bye. Bye. Play us out. If you'd like to send us a message, you can email us at kitgpodcast@gmail.com or tweet us at kitgpodcast on Twitter.